why and when it's expected to resume.
I hate to tell you, I have $1.25 in my account. I have $5 in saving, and I've maximized that just to survive the last 3 weeks.
With so many people being laid off from work right now, I'm talking to people in the hardest hit industries and looking at possible help.
Georgia's confirmed number of coronavirus cases continues to soar. Good afternoon, I'm Rick Fulbaum.
And I'm Tracy Hutchins. Right now, the state has more confirmed cases than all of Russia. The official count from the State Department of Public Health shows Georgia has 7,314 cases and 229 deaths. Fulton County has 1,027 cases, the most in the state. Dougherty County has 31 virus-related deaths, the most of any county in Georgia. The United States now has more than 355,000 cases, at least 10,000 deaths. New York State remains one of the nation's hotspots. Earlier today, Governor Andrew Cuomo took off the kid gloves, painting this grim picture of residents who refuse to stay inside.
This is serious. What right do you have to act irresponsibly in a way that could get you sick or someone else sick, and then I have to send an ambulance to pick you up and bring you to an emergency room that's already overburdened, that doesn't have staff, doesn't have supplies, doesn't have ventilators, because you were reckless and irresponsible. You don't have that right. Now is not the time to be playing Frisbee with your friends in the park.
The doctors leading the nation's coronavirus response are warning this could be the worst week yet. CBS's Elise Preston reports from New York City, the nation's pandemic epicenter.
The U.S. Navy ship Comfort could become a temporary hospital for coronavirus patients if New York Governor Andrew Cuomo has his way. The ship is currently in New York Harbor. The governor is asking President Trump to change its designation.
We don't need the Comfort for non-COVID cases. We need it for COVID.
The governor announced schools and businesses in New York State will remain closed until April 29th. Inside this Brooklyn hospital, 80% of the patients here are being treated for COVID-19, some requiring intubation the second they arrive. Doctors say this man in his early 50s had no underlying conditions and is requiring 100% of oxygen to keep his lungs inflated.
Old people, young people are dying from this. It is lethal.
The hospital staff is not immune and in some cases not fully protected. We saw nurses wearing trash bags to protect their scrubs, use sanitizing wipes to clean themselves as they work, and a doctor wearing ski goggles.
New York's governor says the state may be close to reaching its apex or may have already reached a plateau, but it is just the beginning for other states.
Louisiana is expected to open a 1,000-bed makeshift hospital inside the New Orleans Convention Center, a day after the state experienced its largest single-day uptick in deaths. And in Largo, Maryland, the community is mourning 27-year-old Leilani Jordan, a grocery store employee. Her mother took these photos of her daughter's hospital room before she passed away.
When they got her, she had 104 fever. And they put her in isolation, and she called me. She says, "Mommy, I can barely breathe."
Jordan's mother says instead of leaving work when the outbreak began, she only wanted to help people more. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
Heartbreaking story there. We are also keeping an eye on the White House right now for today's coronavirus task force update. CBS 46 will carry it live right here the moment it starts.
The closing bell there, a strong start to the trading week on Wall Street. The Dow Jones and S&P 500 as well as the Nasdaq ended the day in the green. Well, despite today's good numbers on Wall Street, the state of Georgia remains on shaky financial footing. Recent numbers from the Department of Labor reveal people working in the food services sector are among the hardest hit during this pandemic. CBS 46's Haley Mason breaks down the bleak outlook for other workers.
Donathan Walker took pride in his job as a professional chauffeur. He was often the face celebrities would see at the airport or waiting for them outside special events.
You know, when you can take somebody safely through Georgia's streets and highways and you drop them off, and there's a certain joy and gratification in my job that comes from what I do.
Today, instead of waiting for clients,
Right now, I'm sitting in limbo, staying in the house just like everyone else.
he's waiting on the long list of Georgia's newly unemployed, trying to get benefits from the state.
I hate to tell you, I have $1.25 in my account. I have $5 in saving, and I've maximized that just to survive the last 3 weeks.
He's now left to take care of his disabled wife with practically no money and at least 2 more weeks to wait for a payment from an overwhelmed processing system.
Because you're in limbo, you don't know where the income's going to come from, how it's going to come.
It turns out Donovan's industry is one of the hardest hit in Georgia because of the coronavirus pandemic. Looking at a breakdown across the state, accommodation and food services topped the list by far, with more than 65,000 jobs lost in the last week of March. Surprisingly, healthcare and social assistance took a hit next, followed by administrative and support services, then art, entertainment, and recreation, where Donovan works, and then last, retail trade. Across the country, more than 3.5 million people found themselves unemployed in just the last 5 weeks. I took a look at the demographic breakdown and found that 14.3% of the newly unemployed are teens, 4% are adult men, and 4% are adult women. 6.7% are black, 6% are Hispanic, 4.1% are Asian, and 4% are white, all without jobs right now in the middle of a pandemic.
You hear about all this money being put out there, but at the end of the day, you're also hearing that it's going to take months to get here.
Economists and labor officials I talked to recommend looking for work right now in the grocery store and online distribution industries because they are in high demand right now. I have a list of those types of jobs on our CBS 46 streaming app. Reporting in Atlanta, Haley Mason, CBS 46 News.
Patients still need blood daily, sometimes weekly, to stay